Hey guys! Today I'm going to make a video just kind of walking you through the Buddhism inquiry. So we've learned about Hinduism and now we're onto Buddhism. So let's take a look at our learning goals. And some of you guys may be like, I didn't know there was a difference, or I thought that was the same thing, or I've never heard of any of these. Well, that's awesome because I'm glad that I get to teach you something. So on our inquiry learning goals, students, y'all will be able to use the question formation technique, QFT. We've used it before. It's just, looking at stuff and then coming up with a bunch of questions. And if you're anything like me or my children, that will come easy to you because I feel like that's all that my children ask me is questions like, Mom, what time is it? What's for dinner? Can I have something to drink? Will you do this for me? What are we doing today? Questions. So after you come up with those questions, you'll be able to prioritize them. You'll also be able to research your one burning question, like what is that question that you must know the answer to? And then you're going to corroborate your findings, meaning you're going to make sure that your research adds up. You'll be able to synthesize your findings into a paragraph. Students will be able to identify cultural, political, economic, and territorial information. Even though this is like geographic, let's change that. I feel like that we use the term geography instead of territory. Sorry. All right. So the first thing that you're going to do on this inquiry, whenever I post it, I'll make sure that each student gets a copy. So you're going to observe this photograph. You're going to observe it for 1 minute. You're just going to look at it quietly. You're going to look at all the things. You're going to see, check it out. The topic is Buddhism. You're going to make 3 observations. You could talk about like this big thing back here. What is it? What do you think these things are? These look like tables. There's a bunch of them. What is it? You're going to make 3 observations. This is the Dhammik Stupa in Sarnath, India, where the Buddha gave his first sermon. It was built by Shaka. And again, I'm really not that good at pronouncing these names, so bear with me. After you make that, what you're going to do, you'll click in here, and you should be able to just click right here by one and then make your observation, okay? I'm going to delete this. Okay. After you do that, you need to make 3 observations. You're going to activate prior knowledge. What do you already know about Buddhism? So you're going to click into this. You may not know anything about Buddhism, okay? But I put some pictures over here. You might know that they're like sometimes they pray to a little baby or a Buddha or something like that. Make sure that you put something. Anything, okay? Next step, you're going to carefully read the description of Buddhism, and you're going to, over here, I've added some circles, and you're going to circle words that you don't understand. So on the first paragraph, I'll do the first one with you. Buddhism is a religion founded by Siddhartha Gautama. Okay, you might be like, who's that? Who is Siddhartha Gautama? All right, you could circle this. You could pull that circle all the way over there, okay? That might be one. That might be your first vocabulary word, okay? I'm going to move it back, though. It's probably a different size now. Buddhism teaches people to end their suffering by cutting out greed, hatred, and ignorance. You may not know what greed means, all right? So you could drag a circle over here to greed. When people do bad things, they get bad consequences. When people do good things, they will get good consequences. Okay, so you're going to read through that. There's 2 slides, and you are going to circle any words that you do not know what they are. These are going to be your vocabulary words, okay? Continue. There's some more circles here. You should be able to drag, and there will be plenty. If you run out of circles to drag, you can right-click on this, and you can copy, and then you can paste more. So I'm going to paste, okay? So right there, I like it to be the same thing. All right, so that's what you're going to do. You're going to circle those. Next, it's word work. Okay, I don't want you to spend an incredible amount of time on this. I just want you to write down your vocabulary words, the ones that you put circles around. Then you're going to find the definition. Make sure that you use a credible source. Wikipedia is not a credible source. Do not be copying and pasting definitions from Wikipedia. I will know. Then you're going to have a sentence using the word, okay? Write a sentence using the word. You should be able to do that once you know the definition. All right, that's pretty simple. You do not have to fill all this up. So if you only have 3 words that you don't know, that's totally fine. All right. And the problem is if you have more than 3 words, if you have more than that, I encourage you to, that's awesome, but only put what fits in here. Okay, the next thing is the question formulation technique. We have used this before. We are going to come up with as many questions. I have put 5 places where you could add questions, but you can add as many as you want to. So you're going to type as many questions that you can think about Buddhism, all right? And I have put a chart on here to help you. This chart, I don't want you to add anything to it unless it's like a check mark. So here is a chart. I think that this is a great tool to use for the question formulation technique. So you could be like, who is Gautama Siddhartha? All right. You could put if you wanted to make sure that you do not ask this question again, you could add a check. You could insert a shape. You could do like a check or something like that, or even a plus, or you could just, put an X in it. It doesn't matter. Who did what? Who can? Who would? Who will? Who might? Okay. What is? Like where did it come from? When did this happen? How would someone feel, or how would this, or why did this happen? Like, all right. This is a good tool for you to use. I'm not going to give you any questions because I want you guys to be coming up with them yourself. So if you're struggling and you can't come up with any questions to put here, you need to at least 5, okay? You can add as many as you want, but the goal is to come up with several. We're not just coming up with one question. You need to have at least 5, and I will be checking this. So, and this chart should help you come up with way more than 5 questions. So here is that. Okay, the next step is question reflection, all right? I don't want you to spend a whole lot of time on this. This is simple. I want you to think, did your questions have a good balance of history, economics, government, and culture? Okay, those are like the main topics of social studies, or the main, not topics, our sections of social studies. This is what we focus on in our standards. Is there a good balance of these things? Okay. If there's not, maybe you should go back and be like, this, maybe one, I want to have an economic question. Maybe I want to have a government question. Maybe I want to have a question about culture. Okay. Like this is for you to go back and reflect on your questions and on your work. All right. What type of questions were most common on your list? So if you put if you used a lot of who was or where or used a lot of when questions, then put that, okay? All right, step 7, choose one question, all right? And I know you're like, well, why do I have to come up with 5 questions if I'm only going to choose one? Well, I want you, which one is bugging you the most? Like, which question must you have an answer to, all right? And you're going to type it below. You can copy and paste it. That's fine with me. And then you're going to find 2 websites, 2 web sources, and you are going to put the link down here. So you can just click on it. You don't have to turn it into a hyperlink. You don't have to go to insert link and do all that unless you want to. That would be awesome. I want you guys to practice using this tool. But the link will just do, okay? I want to know which web source that you use to answer your question. Then you're going to calculate your findings, okay? So as you're typing in this, your box might get bigger, and that's totally okay. But what I want to know is from your first website, what information and facts related to your one question that you must answer, okay? And then over here, does this source corroborate with information you have read? Is it the same as the information that you've read up here in these slides? Is it the same as the website number 2, okay? Are they the same whenever you compare? Or are they different? That's what corroboration means. That's a big word. You guys are corroborators. Okay, now the last thing. This is what you're going to do last. The synthesis of findings. Okay, so you've come up with your question, the one burning question, and you've researched it, and now you have your answer. And you're going to write this in a paragraph. I want this to be in your own words. I do not want you to go and copy a paragraph from the internet somewhere and paste it, because I will know. Okay, I can definitely tell the difference in 7th grade work and collegiate level work. Okay, so write a paragraph in your own words that summarizes your findings, okay, with your one question. Like, I don't want you going in there and typing about all the other questions that you've asked. I want you to, this is regarding your one question, all right? Simple enough. I hope that this Buddhism inquiry I hope that it helps you learn. And, and we might even have time to share. I might do what is that app where you make the video? I forget what the app is called, or not the app, the source. What is that called? Flipgrid. I might have you guys do a Flipgrid. There's no telling what we'll do with this. But I want to know your findings, and I want everyone else to be able to hear your questions too, because that's how we learn. We see things, we come up with questions, we answer them with credible sources, and we share. All right? That's it for the Buddhism inquiry. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'll be glad to answer. And I'll be looking forward to reading your research. Have a wonderful day.